I just turned off the podcast, took off my headphones and stated to myself, it's time to produce more than consume. It's actually a new mantra, or a mantra that I've had for a year or something like that, that I like to produce more than I consume in every regard. And I wanted to record my thoughts, and even though if I really like the podcast I was listening to, Alex Ramosin's The Game podcast on Spotify, can truly recommend it. And if you don't have Spotify, check him out on YouTube, great content. And he said something that I really resonated with, and it was something, I'm paraphrasing, but it's something in the lines that he doesn't ascribe labels to things, or at least he tries to not to. I like that. I like that way of thinking. Now, the reason why I like it is because I heard this, I think it was 2 years ago or something like that. 2 or 3 years ago when I was together with my ex. And her best friend was dating this guy that was living in Stockholm here. And they were based, and she was based down in Malmö, Lund, or the southern regions, not really Malmö, Lund, but the southern regions of Sweden. And I asked him, like, what are you guys? Like, this is interesting, come on, you know, we're talking, she's telling stories, and we're having fun. And then I just asked my ex-friend, yeah, so what are you guys? And then they responded, or she responded with such a good answer, that she doesn't like to ascribe labels to it. She doesn't feel like she has to. And she was very spiritual, right? My ex and her, they were very spiritual people. They thought about a lot of things. They took the time to reflect, and they were very smart. They are smart. They're not dead. They're alive. And it just got me to think, like, when I heard this from Alex, when he said that, well, he doesn't necessarily like to ascribe labels to things. Wait, sorry, train. Yeah, sorry about that. The train is very loud these days. That didn't make sense. Okay, anyways. They're very philosophical and ascribing labels to things. I think that's the human mind to be able to interpret the mass amount of information and try to understand and grasp the world as we see it. That's one of the ways. I'm sorry for the disturbance in sounds if there's anything annoying you guys, but you know, walking outside with my phone, it's kind of in that way. And I just figured that this is hilarious. I just figured that when I ascribe labels to things, I try to simplify. And simplifying to understand serves a purpose, but I don't think it necessarily has to be that way. I don't think it necessarily has to be that I always simplify everything in order to understand. I think I can be stoic about it, and that's basically what Alex said. Alex Ramosin in his podcast, that he doesn't ascribe a label to it because that's just how it is. As in, okay, we have these things that are happening. It's raining, it's snowing. Right now it's very cold here. It's very cold. It's and it's the humidity. You feel that even more. But I don't say that's good or bad. It's cold. I'm stating a fact. And I reflected whilst listening to the podcast about, like, how do I work? Like, how do I work with these labels? How do I perceive the world, or how do I understand it? And I figured that, yeah, I do put labels on some things, but sometimes I don't. As in, it's raining heavily or snowing heavily, and my friends or someone that I'm speaking to, they say, well, that's a... Why is it like, as soon as I turn on the camera, everything starts to get louder? It's like 10 decibels up. And like the audio volume just increases exponentially of everything else. Oh, look at the sun. took a good look at the stereo to sun, as Andrew Huberman says. So, anyways, I understand that labels fill a function, but it depends on what labels, right? It's raining heavily is just stating a fact. It's snowing, it's cold, and it's humidity is high, and therefore you feel that it's colder. I'm just stating facts. I don't necessarily think anything about it. But there are some people that I know that by me stating a fact, they automatically assume I am trying to say something else. I have a hidden meaning behind what I'm saying, or what other people are saying, other than the fact that I'm stating. Now, if I say, so quick story. So, a friend of mine, we were texting about, and I asked him what his plans for New Year's Eve was, because when New Year's Eve, during New Year's, I usually have like some sort of dinner or some dinner party, whatever, and I'll probably host it this year as well. And he responded with that, oh, I have plans with our friend together that we both are friends with. I was like, okay, that's nice. And then I thought, like, wait, I just invited him as well, and he didn't say anything about that he was gonna have this thing, and I didn't really think about much whilst texting, so it's like my fingers were doing the talking, I wasn't really thinking. And then I just like, okay, noted, in Swedish though. And then he responded, what do you mean? I'm like, what do you mean what I mean? I just said, noted, like, understood. It's like, yeah, well, and that's, so he was trying to, in some way, trying to understand, like, why was I saying that? Well, I wasn't saying that for any particular reason other than noted. I understand. And then whilst reading through the conversation, I understood that, okay, this guy thinks now that I literally, I don't know what he was thinking, but if I got hurt or in any way reflected too much about it, it wasn't. I was just stating a fact. Noted. I understand. Okay, cool. And that's basically a good explanation, a good story to kind of grasp the whole thing of how I view things. As in, sometimes I just state the fact and noted. I understand. Nothing more than that. It's not that I'm thinking too much about it or I'm reflecting on it. Well, sometimes I do, but I'm not ascribing labels to it as it's good or bad, because I believe you can reflect, so I kind of take that back. I do reflect, but I don't think you necessarily need to put emphasis that it's good or bad or ascribe labels to it in that sense. I think you can just reflect upon it, it's happened, and then you let it go, more in a stoic way. Now, I wouldn't say I'm the biggest stoic philosopher out there. I try to adapt a stoic mindset towards things in life, but I wouldn't say necessarily that I'm the most stoic person you'll ever meet. But I ascribe, or I try to become more of a stoic person. I do, and yeah. So those are my 2 cents on ascribing labels, and I think it feels purpose, but sometimes you just state facts and people won't understand you just stating facts, just reflecting on it, not necessarily with anything else in the back of your mind. And I'm sorry for the shitty audio. Maybe I should get some microphones or something, but thank you for listening. Have a great day, and comment if you have any thoughts. I read them. See ya, bye.